5, 16, 19, 21, 33, and 10. Check results. You remember?
Holiday Doctor Away 200 and like 94. Don't know, something like that. I watched Barbie. No one asked. I know. I did watch it. I watched it yesterday. I did the double header. Big gap in between. You know. I watched Oppenheimer when it actually came out in the cinema, and then I watched Barbie now. And I have to say, the first thing I thought after finishing that film was, anyone like, how could you have enjoyed watching both of those? Right, there is probably almost no films I'd want to watch directly after each other, because after I finish a film, it's like finishing a marathon. It's like, okay, let's like chill out now. It's kind of like, oh, let's back in the real world. The sort of time, it's like time travel. Time's different now. Like when you come out the cinema and it's like dark and you're surprised for some reason, every time. I can't imagine walking out and being like, okay, immediately into Oppenheimer or Barbie. And a lot of people before those films came out, it was like, the order is like, before you saw them, people would say the order is Oppenheimer then Barbie, because you go through the rough stuff and then you sort of wash it down with some light-hearted Barbie, right? And I think most people, after seeing it, I can agree, no, because you'll kind of just be sitting there in Barbie, like the Homelander meme, kind of glazed over, like you're just watching it, like with that ear ringing sound effect they put in war movies, because like it's kind of just like, it's too heavy. It's 3 hours, and then you're gonna sit and what, and you're just coming out of the film, and you got like that sort of score rippling through your head that's like non-stop throughout the film, and you're kind of sitting there like Oppenheimer, like chain reaction, and then Barbie's on screen like waving multiple times. But then I think if I had to watch Barbie first, I just don't want to watch them straight after each other. Like, I get it was a whole thing, and honestly, that whole double header probably massively helped Oppenheimer make. How much money do you reckon that whole Barbenheimer thing happening just by chance, right? How much money, extra money, do you reckon it made Oppenheimer? Because I wouldn't be surprised if it made like an extra 100 million or more, just based off of that whole, right. Like, if it just came out on its own. If it just came out on its own, do you think there's a world in which like that was like box office flop Oppenheimer? Not to say like, obviously people still want to go see it and like it and stuff, and it might get a decent bit of word of mouth. But like, you see films that are generally well regarded and they don't do well in the box office, and the director comes out and says, "That's everything wrong with this generation. These kids don't. They're just too busy looking at their iPads and they won't come watch my film." They do that kind of thing. Um, so who knows? Who knows? But I've been watching a lot of media recently. Again, I'm someone who claims to like films. That's why I call them films, so I sound like I know more about them than I do. And then I go on Letterboxd, because someone who likes films would have a Letterboxd account, wouldn't they? And I check the films I've seen, usually around this time of year, during that year, and I added them up. I'm not the best at maths, but it took about 4 seconds, because I've seen 6 films in this entire year, which is crazy. One every 2 months, which, some like, it is crazy, because like not everyone goes to the cinema, right? A lot of people can't be asked. Like, some people like haven't been to the cinema in like 8 years or something crazy. But like, when the film comes out on Netflix or whatever streaming service, they'll watch films, and they would have watched way more than 6. You know, it's wild. Off the top of my head, right, if I had to remember what they were, ooey ooey. I think Guardians of the Galaxy, um, Into the Spider Verse, Captain Marvel. Straight off the bat, that's 3 superhero films. Um, I swear, usually 3 Marvel films come out each year, so there must be another one. My laptop is over there, but I'm quite comfortable, and I don't really want to get up to find it. But um, I guess Barbie now, so that would be 7. Oh, Oppenheimer, I watched that. That goes in there. Um, you know, so not many, not many, and I think a large part of it really is just because like I like being in the cinema. I like once I get there, but like, I overthink the process of like lining up sometimes, and like going in certain films, and I don't really can't really explain it, but it just stops me going a lot of the time. Also, just the journey to get there. It's like, it's close enough where you could walk, but it'd be quite a long walk there, and like probably about an hour walk. But for me, that's fine. I don't mind that. You know, I don't like the bus, and I can't drive. So typically, you get walking everywhere, and I don't mind that an hour long walk. Putting a podcast on, it's like an hour long walk on the train. It's like 4 minutes, So, you could get the train, but I'm like, it's such a short distance to get the train. It feels almost not worth it. And I did get a bike, right? But the problem with that is I had the bike, used it for like a few weeks. The first time I then locked it up outside. I told you this, you don't remember because people don't watch these, all of them or any of them. It got stolen. I got it back because just out of luck and chance. But the first time I looked up, and this was in Stratford, so you could say, "Hey, I'm the idiot," but it wasn't a. It wasn't a. I thought about the spot, and I was like, I left it for like half an hour, which is what really blew my mind. So I'm like, well, it's just I wouldn't be able to enjoy the film. Like I'd be going in. It's an e-bike as well, so it'd get me there in a decent amount of time. And then, the whole time I'm watching it, I'd just be like, ugh, is the bike still there though? And then it's like the reveal of walking outside, like, is it still there? Is it still there? And if it's not, it's just ruined the entire mood. Now I'm going home and I'm going. I don't leave Letterboxd reviews. I'm not that crazy, but I'm going home and anyone asked me how the film was, 2-1, crap film, shit. I'm just being very harsh. It's like what I could do is I could take it, get a better lock because it wasn't the best lock probably. Lock it up. I could fold it. You can then take the battery out. I could then like take the handlebars. I could take out like certain things, so it's not even worth stealing. Maybe and then test out leaving it locked up in that kind of way. I don't know. And then maybe I'll see more films and stuff. Because 6 is like so small. And if like the strike probably pushed a couple of films back that I would have seen. I would have seen Dune, so that's at least 7. But we wait. But on the topic of films, Golden Globes, nominations. A lot of like film bros. Film sisses. That's not a thing. They're all just film bros. Let's just call them all that. They're a bit peeved. That's what I meant to say. They're a bit peeved because there's a new category, I don't know, in the Golden Globes, which is like outstanding achievement for a box office flick or something like that. It doesn't say flick, I just added that, But they're like, oh, why do big box office films need recognition? This is for the films that don't make huge money at the box office, and you put a light on them and this and that, and it's like from their point of view, it's that we don't need these big blockbuster films. They get enough shine already, and like it's taken away from smaller films. From everyone else's point of view, it's just it's the snobbery of the Oscars. Every film's got to be some obscure thing no one's heard of, and it's like in recent years I've been trying. But this year, honestly, out of the films that are probably nominated for Best Picture, if there's like 5 or 6 or whatever, or they do 10, I don't even know. I think I've seen one. Well, it depends if Barbie is nominated for Best Picture. I doubt it. I don't know, but I've seen Oppenheimer, and a lot of the other ones, it's like you don't even hear them, and it's like I don't know. It feels like sometimes the Oscars at the same time they go out of their way to nominate films that are just like tiny. Like the Oscars description isn't, this is an award show where we shine a light on small budget productions, and like that's not what the Oscars is. It's just we're giving awards for the best actors, films, and this and that. And a lot of times there's been big blockbuster films, and people have felt like, what do I watch the Oscars for? My favorite film, it was really big this year, and it's obviously got no chance of being nominated because it's too mainstream or whatever. So if it gets more people watching your award show, which people think, they spend half the time complaining like no one watches the Oscars. They've got to find a way to get people watching it more. It's going to die. They're going to cancel it. This and that. I don't think they would cancel the Oscars really. I feel like no one could be watching, and I'll still do it just for them. But like, 1 minute. Cool. Sorry, I'm watching football at the same time as this, and it's half time. But like, yeah. And then they do like they add one. We're not changing the whole fabrics of the show here. We're adding one extra award. It's like there are so many awards that are very boring to me that they don't even show on the live broadcast anyway. And if you do watch it, I guess that you can just skip it. But like stuff like best catering, that's not a thing. But it's that kind of level. You're like, okay, I get it's important, and well done to these people. But just as the average goer, I'm not massively into like best sort of best middle part in Hollywood. Oh, it's like there's certain awards you're just like, oh, whatever, right? So yeah, there's one that's gonna celebrate some big blockbuster films. Sometimes it's like, okay, so shite films are getting nominated just by the fact they made a lot of money. But other years it's like, big films that did well, like No Way Home and stuff, or Infinity War, Avengers. There's like sometimes you get these big superhero films, you get some other good films where there's actually good acting in it, or like there's some well-made scenes, or some good payoffs, or some. It's not all fan service and shite. It happens a lot recently, but it's not all that. So I don't mind. I don't really give a fuck. I don't know why any kind of change always has to be like a massive deal. Why can't it just be kind of like okay, I notice this a lot as well in Formula One. Anything that's kind of different, it's like, oh, we're going to be doing this now. Even though it's kind of not good for you as a consumer. It's basically, regular. How do you say it? Normal, regularly programming. The phrase. It's not really going to affect you anyway. You still kind of make the biggest deal about it, and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I've got some other stuff to talk about, but at the same time, like the game's just restarted. It's Bayern Munich United, and I kind of want to watch it. I'm going to be very distracted, so I'm going to have to love you and leave you. And I'll do enough one of these after to catch up after the game. It just wasn't my best work, I'll be honest. Pod today, Dr. Wade, 200, and I'm not even sure. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Here with the kids, and they had like 3 kids, and the geezer was probably on like maximum 20 bags a year. Like the most boring bloke you'll ever meet. He was like a hero.